Welcome to Unschool, where we undoctrinate you from public school nonsense.
We are in the middle of a revolution, a micro-credential revolution, and it will only increase in speed as colleges decline in popularity. Colleges are like radio at this point. They'll still be around, but they will never become as popular as they were 20 years ago. So things are going to change, and people are going to go after different styles of educating themselves and learning new skills and abilities. So the question we pose here is it destroying higher education or remaking it? And some of the colleges could go towards micro credentials as well. It could be useful for them, but they will have to have more specialty niches, right? But they don't really want to do that. They'd rather have a 4-year degree where you go to school for business and 20 of the classes you take have absolutely nothing to do with your degree. That seems to be the norm these days, and people are getting sick of it. They don't want to get tens of thousands of dollars, maybe $100,000 in debt for school, and then end up underemployed in the workforce. You don't want to get a humanities degree and end up at Starbucks. So I think IT is going to lead the way here, right? They're going to have micro credentials. I'm already seeing them around for AI and other new technologies that come out. So, because you could get those a lot faster in a few months than as opposed to getting a 4-year degree, which often takes people 6 or 7 years to get done. Google is doing this now. They have certificates online on websites like Coursera, where you can get your micro credentials, which they consider equivalent to a 4-year degree, and you can get them a lot faster, right? On Coursera, and a lot of it is IT related. And there's other things as well. Some universities are on these websites. Some businesses are using Coursera. These are we're already well into the micro credential revolution. It's going to happen. Nothing's going to stop it except for maybe some wildly controlling laws or something along those lines that would be really inappropriate. It says there the rise of micro credential courses are becoming more popular. They mentioned a number of different topics, right? Here we have the failure of higher education. People are thinking twice about doing it. Tuition costs are out of control. They're up dramatically, right? Not adjusted for inflation. They're up dramatically, right? So it's pretty messed up. And then adjusted for inflation, they're up 40%. Another issue to note is standards in many universities are declining, right, as they try to get more and more low IQ people to graduate college. A lot of the more intelligent people are leaving and pursuing other things in their lives, right? Tenured faculty agree grade inflation is out of control, and there's a lot of new trends that are rising. So, yeah, check out the rest of this article on dschooledwithak.substack.com. Unfortunately, there are some downsides to micro credentials, especially in that the DEI people are trying to conquer it already. You can see the list of things here on this Washington website and all the kind of joke classes that they want people to take. Climate change and environmental justice. Okay, diversity, equity, and cultural competence. That's just Marxism, as we already know. Restorative practices, Marxism, and so on and so forth. So trauma-informed pedagogy would concern me because, again, social emotional learning is illegal. It is an attempt to engage in, a number of these are really, an attempt to engage in um, group therapy by people who are not credentialed in therapy or psychiatry or anything like that. So if I were you, I would not want to do any of this equity training or promote it, right? Here we have another article from Inside Higher Ed. Micro-credentials confuse employers, colleges, and learners. Well, I think it might for a little bit, but things are going to improve, and people are going to get used to certificates and more on-the-job training, hopefully, and less of sitting in a classroom for years on end, not learning anything that you can apply to real life. Um, Here we have some more useful micro-credentials, except for there we have DEI again, but you have some AI boot camps, some classes in leadership, health, so on and so forth. Supporting mental health awareness, that also sounds like social emotional learning. So about the only one that sounds useful here is the AI class. But, you could still go to Coursera and take classes that are actually useful. There's a lot of organizations that are using them, right? You see the list there of big companies that are trying to move away from the traditional college degree. You have more and more colleges saying, don't bother with Ivy League schools. It's a waste of time, and it costs too much money. So this is an article from LinkedIn, My Journey Through a Micro-Credential Revolution, a quest for a smarter workforce. That sounds a lot more positive. And this guy's talking about his life going through that challenge of skill adaptation in the job market. You can adapt to micro-credentials much faster to things that are changing. So you don't end up in a situation where you just graduated and the things that you learned are already out of date. So more and more institutions can pursue this. As you can see here, college employment has been going down since 2010, and it just keeps on declining, right? It wasn't COVID solely that caused this to happen. It's been going down since I think they started pushing too many political narratives. But I don't think we're ever going to go back to this period over here in the 80s and 90s where it was increasing dramatically. I just don't think that's going to happen anymore. Back in the 80s and 90s, boomers were telling us, hey, get a degree in anything and you can get a job. And then we got too many college degrees, and now that's really not relevant anymore. So it says here 95% of executives say it's somewhat or very challenging to find employees with the appropriate skills and talents, right? The skills gap. It's very difficult because colleges have fallen far behind. And the huge benefit of micro credentials is if you want to hire someone that looks like they're, like they can learn on their own, like they're a bit of an autodidact, then you can send them to go get one of these micro credentials for a few $100s and say, hey, it's not going to cost us tens of thousands, but this could be a more pertinent solution. But anyways, if you'd like to read more of this article, it goes on for a ways longer. Check out D-Schooled.